Hello everyone, welcome back to Fix the Family. My name is Raylan Allamont and we are bringing you truth without compromise for the family. This is Resurrecting Manhood today, a series about us being true to our manhood as husbands and fathers in our families and the unique circumstances that we live in today. We're doing part 2, and this is on the man as the sole provider for the family. Not as a provider, but as the sole provider. And this is required by God, given to the first married couple in Genesis. After the fall, after they commit the first sin, we see God approaching the scared couple there in the garden. And this is what He tells them. To the woman He said, I will multiply your pains in childbearing. You shall give birth to your children in pain. Your yearning shall be for your husband, yet he will lord it over you. This is where He gives the husband authority over his wife. To the man He said, because you listened to the voice of your wife, and often we glance over that, but He's saying because you took direction from your wife and ate from the tree of which I had forbidden you to eat, accursed be the soil because of you. With suffering shall you get your food from it every day of your life. It shall yield you brambles and thistles, and you shall eat wild plants. With sweat on your brow shall you eat your bread until you return to the soil, as you were taken from it. For dust you are, and to dust you shall return. Now I want to point out the link that God is making there and showing us what our daily duty is going to be for man and for woman. The woman is to bear children in pain and nurture them, and men are to work by the sweat of their brow to provide for them. These roles God gives us are not interchangeable, but many women are fulfilling the role and the duty of the husbands where none of the men are physically even capable of fulfilling the duty and the role that the mother plays. We have to realize that our wives are wired to have children and to nurture them. That's what's more important to them, and we're only going to see that whenever they have their first baby and it's time for them to return to work. They won't want to, but they're going to feel the pressure to. They're going to think there's some financial pressure where they'll have to, or they'll have pressures from outside forces, from their parents or from the people they used to work with. But we need to get there with them and help them and reassure them that it's okay. This is what they were intended to do, and this is being true to their femininity. There's 2 words that I'm going to keep repeating throughout this series that are very important. One is decision, the other is commitment. These are words that men we can very well identify with and honor and use as a foundation to build our marriage upon, the decisions and the commitments that we make. So let's look at how this plays out in the real world. If we follow the way of the world, then husband and wife get married and they both go off to their careers, to their jobs. And then after a certain amount of time, both of them feel like it's about time for us to have a baby. And so they do. But then they have to deal with all those things that go along with it. After the baby is born and she's had her maternity leave, and the maternity leave's up, and then she has to go back to work. And then we have dropping the baby off at daycare. It's a very emotional, troubling experience for so many women to be separated from that baby. And then what happens in the night, or if the baby's sick or needs care overnight, and the husband tries to also help out with that. And if things happen during the day while both of them are at work, one of them's going to have to leave their job. It's not fair to either employer. So we see that there's a division there. There's a split. There's a split in attention and focus in both of them because this is hanging there in the back of their minds of how they're going to handle these situations. And what ends up happening more often is that the man ends up compromising his career and his job that he has to do, and not doing as good of a job as he could in order for his wife to also have a career that she's really not intended to have. And this is what is continuing to happen, and so many couples attempt. Ideally, what we're supposed to do is that husband and wife get married and are open to children and welcome children as soon as they come and are born. And that becomes the main responsibility, as God said in Genesis, the main responsibility of that wife as her day job. That's her daily duty, to take care of that baby. So when the baby is up in the night, she cares for the baby in the night. And then whenever in the morning, when it's time for the husband to get up to go to work, he gets up because he's rested while his wife is taking care of the baby during the night as he's needed to. So he'll go off to work, and he can focus on that job knowing that his baby is taken care of by someone better than anyone else who could care for that child, the mother. So he is very confident, safe and secure, knowing that everything, his wife and child are safe at home. He could focus on his job, do a good job all day long, and work the complete work day all the way to the end of the day, not having to leave early to go pick the baby up or anything, and return home after the end of the day. That is a husband and wife optimally working at 100%, true to their masculinity and femininity as God has built them, has wired them to operate. Is it, in that situation, do we all make the same amount of money, or do we make as much as we could under the other circumstances? It might not be much of a difference once we count daycare and all these other expenses that go along with the dual career family. But yes, we may have to make some sacrifices. We may have to do without some material things. And often these are non-essentials and wastes of money. And what is better for the mother and the child often are much more valuable than any physical or material thing that we could possess. So in order to make those sacrifices, we have to live on a budget. We have to manage our finances right. This is what we'll talk about next time, managing the family finances, here with Resurrecting Manhood today at Fix the Family. My name is Raylan Alamo. God bless you.